like shine. You gotta be working to get the woman and the wine. Kick the beat and get your hands in the air. Shuffle the beat cause it's an African affair. To Buffalo Park and our home at St. George's. We're bringing the silverware back on the forges. That's the way of the warrior. That's the way of the warrior. That's the way of the warrior. That's the everyday warrior.
Never mind your liver, get your Gino spot.
Gino spot.
Get your Gino spot.
Gino spot.
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle. Have a Gino shot.
Gino shot.
Get your Gino spot.
Gino spot.
Get your Gino spot.
Gino spot.
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle. Get your Gino spot.
Gino spot.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Center Stage. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our show. It's a Monday night show, which is not normally our it's an unusual time for us to do it, I know, but we've got rehearsals and things to do on Tuesday when you will, so most of you will be probably watching this on Tuesday as well. But we've got Cathy Gush in the studio from the Amakhala Foundation. And well, first of all, what I normally have to do, Cathy, is I have to thank the sponsors, Fitch and Leeds, which you can see on that side of me there. Fitch and Leeds have been with us for 3-4 years now, just about, supporting us. So we are very happy with that. And also Amobia, our internet provider, behind you there. I know the screen, when we look at the screen here, it's look the opposite way around. But Gary will catch us on the cameras, whichever way we are. And I know we normally start off with a bit of a spiel and a thing, but we thought, well, what the hell? We've got Simon Shaw in the studio as well with us today as well, or tonight, because he's going to be doing an Amakhala concert, and we've got you as well. So we've got the full studio tonight. And welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Gino. Lovely to be here.
Fantastic to have you on as well. And when Simon actually alerted me to this, and when I heard your name, Gush, I thought immediately of the Lower Albany, because obviously it's your husband's name. So he must have, as we were talking before, and he said he went very far to get his wife, so that you didn't have any inbreeding in the Lower Albany.
Not sure of that.
Yeah, but Amakhala, the foundation, that's what you head up. Is that
yes,
right?
That's correct.
Okay,
yes.
so tell me a little bit about it. What is this?
Okay, so it was started just a little over 10 years ago.
Okay.
Not so when the reserve itself started, the foundation wasn't part of it immediately. It followed sort of about 10 years later.
2014.
Yes, around about there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
In and around Amakhala Game Reserve, because a game reserve isn't just a protected wildlife area. There are always people.
Yes.
People are living there.
Yeah.
I thought you got one of them.
Yes.
To say.
Yes.
So we wanted to integrate looking after communities and people, and develop not just the reserve for the wildlife and the environment, but also for the people that live in and around.
Also important, I think, for the game farms to I mean, a lot of them do get involved in that sort of thing as well, and it's good because you need to feed the community around you. You can't just
absolutely, and you need to take people with you. In this whole development, you can't just do it in a vacuum.
Yeah.
There are people involved always, and you've got to have that balance between people and the environment.
Yeah. And the foundation, what is its sort of what are the biggest projects then that you're involved in?
So our big focus is education and development,
Okay.
and then conservation as well, to
Okay.
quite a large extent. I don't know if you want me to tell you a
Yeah,
bit more
please.
about
Yeah, is it-
so
is it-
education and development-wise, we've got our own little preschool,
Okay.
and then we support the local primary school.
What's it called? The little preschool?
It's called Ijosi,
Josie.
because it's it's named after the farm that it's on.
Oh,
So it's actually not on the reserve itself; it's just outside. But
Okay.
the farm is called Brentwood, but the owner was a Joseph at some stage, and so the
Oh.
local people always refer to it as Ijosi.
okay.
So we
Okay.
just call the preschool Ijosi.
Oh, lovely. Okay, so it's got a bit of a local tie-in as well.
Yes. So we've got a preschool for the sort of pre-grade R, and then
Yeah.
there's a local primary school that is under the Department of Education, just grade R to 3, but we
Okay.
support it in quite a big way. So all the children that are attached in some way to Amakhala,
Yeah.
who want to go to school there, we give them bursaries because it's a fee-paying school.
Yes.
We give them bursaries, transport, all of that kind of thing. We help the school itself. Last year we bought them a little toilet block. We helped put
Okay.
up, playground
This is the
equipment.
government school, or you're talking about
It's the government's-
or the
government-
pre-primary?
No, the government school. So with the preschool is our own that we look
Okay.
after entirely. The
Okay.
government school we support
Yeah.
in whatever way they need. We give extra English classes, grade R school readiness classes. I do a library hour once a week.
I love it. So you're the librarian.
Yes. I'm a
I
closet
love
librarian.
it. I love it. It's, I mean, how many kids have you got in those in the pre-primary then?
Pre-primary is small. We've got
yeah.
about 10 kids.
Okay, sure.
And the school itself, we've got about just over 40 kids
Wow.
from grade R to grade 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, small community there as
Yes,
well, but
yes.
at least the kids that are out there have got then a chance to get in. So you say the government school is partly, did the government help?
Yes, so they're paying. It's like an ex-model C school
Yeah.
almost, in that the government pays the salaries of 2 of the 3 teachers.
Oh.
But the
You think they'd give you another one?
I know, but
Good
the parents
Lord,
do
man.
pay fees as well to
Yeah,
help pay
okay.
for the third teacher and,
Okay.
for other things that are needed.
Yeah.
And that's why we give the Amakhala kids bursaries to go, because
Okay.
otherwise they'd be having to pay the fees of whatever 400 or 500 rand a month.
Yeah, but I mean the major. I mean, I know from my wife Philip, who runs Elson. The major thing is the salaries of the teachers. So
Yes.
at least if you've got the government help for those
Yes.
2 salaries, it helps a hell of a lot.
It does help a lot. And I have been toying with the idea of privatizing the school entirely,
Uh-huh.
because it's difficult to get teachers to come and teach out there.
Yes.
And it comes with its own challenges.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we have been thinking about privatizing it. But obviously the teacher salaries is a big thing. It would add a lot to our bill
Yes.
for the
it's
foundation.
massive.
So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
The advantage is that you can then kind of do your own thing. We could have a whole eco school. We could
Oh, of course.
have a very environmentally oriented curriculum,
Yeah.
et cetera.
Yeah, you
So
could
we'll
change
see.
that. It
I
doesn't-
think there are going to be some changes going forward.
Yeah, I mean, there must be some scope for some of that, though. Is it? I mean, it's obviously it's almost like a farm school.
Yes.
So it would give those kids would certainly be outdoor kids.
Yes,
How
and we
would
try
that-
and do that as much as possible. So our special days, our water day, our arbor day, our environmental day, whatever, we always bring them across to Amakhala and do a special day with them and take them on a game drive and things like that. So they do get quite a lot of exposure anyway.
And the staff at Foundation is just you.
It's not
you
just
doing
me.
everything.
No. Well, I'm only part-time. I
Okay.
also have another half of a job in
Okay.
Makhanda with another NGO.
Okay.
So it's me part-time, and then we have someone overseeing the environmental education program who's very much part-time because she's a life sciences teacher in Makhanda.
Yeah.
And then we've got one full-time environmental education officer.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
then we've got a young woman that's helping us with our new digital learning program, which is
Oh,
very
okay.
exciting, that
Oh,
we've
yes.
got just launched now.
Okay. Okay.
And so
Computers, yeah, nah.
so we've really only got, and then we've got the preschool teacher who's also on our payroll. So
Yes.
quite a lot of sort of bits and pieces, and not a big staff. at all.
Yeah. How many altogether? So like it must be like 6 or 7.
Yeah, 6 or 7,
okay.
not all of them full time.
All right. And tell, just as far as the history goes of the thing, where did it start and how did it? How has it changed?
It's changed quite a lot in that initially it was quite small and small budget and was really mostly sort of ecology work and environmental education.
Okay.
So it has grown very much over the years, partly because although initially it was just donation income,
Yeah.
but since about 2018, we get 50% of the conservation levies that all guests, so every guest that stays on the reserve pays a conservation levy
Okay.
as part of their bed night,
Oh,
as
okay,
on top of whatever they're paying for their
Yes.
accommodation and their lodgings.
Mhm.
And 50% of that comes to the foundation. So we've got a fairly guaranteed source of income
Yes,
for the
that's
last
good.
couple of years. And that's obviously enabled us to
Yeah.
upgrade enormously
Yes.
what we do and expand what we do.
Okay. And so when you're talking about conservation and stuff, what did you guys sort of focus on?
We've just started a vegetation rehabilitation project.
Okay.
To try and get rid of a lot of the
tell me about
aliens.
this, because there was a whole movement. Ian von Memety was into it. I couldn't remember but it was like this letting the land just go and be what it was. It's taken, I think, they take out the
alien stuff and try and get the natural stuff back in. Yeah. Well, we will try and probably plant, indigenous stuff in the place of the alien stuff. But
yes,
like you'll see when it rains a lot and our plants and our flowers grow a lot, so do the weeds. So
Yes.
weeds are often the most, virulent things that grow the most and the fastest. So it's a big job to keep on top of that.
Okay.
And so we're going to have, for the next year, we're going to have 5 previously unemployed people working on that, which is nice. It's
Great.
employment creation, but
Yes.
it's also working towards eradicating aliens and planting indigenous bush shrubs instead.
Good. And it's also, I mean, not only is it, the physical work, but I'm sure there's probably some education and stuff
Yes.
for the community that goes in
Yes.
there as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So when they see stuff, they can cut it out.
yeah. There are now going to be 5 people that are going to be trained in that,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
come from a community, 2
Yes.
communities, on the reserve, so they can then spread that in their own villages and areas where they live. This is what's, guys, this is what's happening. This is what we're doing, and as you say, build up their own knowledge.
And animals wise and
Yeah,
stuff
and
as
then
well.
so for instance, we help quite a lot with we recently acquired black rhino for the first time.
Those are the dangerous ones.
Yes,
eh?
the dangerous
You
ones.
don't approach them on foot.
No, definitely not. So we got them from a provincial park sport reserve,
Okay.
and supposedly it was a donation from them.
Okay.
But as they say, there's no such thing as a free lunch. So
Oh,
somewhere
yes.
along the line, there's always a little, quid pro quo or something.
Something's going there.
So
yes.
as a quid pro quo for getting those, it was us and 2 other reserves.
Yes.
We agreed to contribute to a community development project that borders on the reserve where those black rhino came from.
Oh wow. Okay.
So we each of the 3 reserves contributed, I think, 100,000 rand each to
Okay.
that project, and so the foundation paid that money.
Sure. Okay.
And last year we bought sophisticated equipment for rhino, anti-rhino.
Are these the
patching.
cameras?
Night vision drones.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
And night vision monoculars.
Yes.
So
yes.
to be able to, track.
Because they were talking about
effectively at night as well. And that stuff doesn't come cheap.
No, it doesn't. I actually just did a little filming session with Paul Gardner, who was out
yes.
doing his running story.
Yes.
And we went out to Shamwari side, and they had these towers with the cameras, but they were AI powered or something, so they could check what was and where these rhinos are, because they're all tagged up.
Yes, that's right. And as I say, night vision ones to be able to, because a lot of when poaching does happen, all the activities usually at night, so you want to be able to immediately be able to track them. So we've helped buy some of that equipment, sometimes buying some of the tracking collars for the cheetah and that kind of thing. So
so you really do get involved in that side as well.
Yes. Yes.
I'm sure.
And then just development opportunities, training, dog handling training, for instance. We've sent the guys on, these guys who have natural affinity to want to be a dog handler.
Yeah.
Because we use that in anti-poaching as well.
Okay.
So we pay for a guy to go on dog handling course.
Sure.
Driver's licenses for our anti-poaching unit guys. All that kind of skills development, guide training. We support that as well. So we really try and see where we can develop the young people from our area as well especially into environmental and kind of careers.
It's specialized sort of careers, as well. That's great for that. And I mean, it's fascinating how this whole obviously the protection of all these animals and the whole thing that has to go around it. You know, this like
It's
anti-poaching and
It's huge and very expensive.
yeah, crazy stuff. And I mean, for yourself, what's an average day for you for your job?
It's quite often just very boring stuff. Payments, admin and payments. But as I say, I do my own sort of library story hour for about 2 hours every Monday.
Yeah.
I have meetings with my staff. I check on the preschool. I check on our environmental education person.
So you're overseeing.
Yes.
The boss.
And then looking at, new developments. As I say, we've just launched our digital learning program where we bought tablets and they're working with that with the school kids, and we're bringing all the staff and the adults who want to do online courses now into our little computer center that we've built. So they always.
Well, there's so much available now. If you think about that for the online stuff, it is.
There is. No, there is. And we've got a very nice association with the Good Works Foundation who operate. They started at Philippolis, but now mainly Hoedspruit, initially through the Varties, and all of that at Philippolis, John Varty and them and their projects there. Now they're up at Hoedspruit. And they're very big on that. And so we kind of got an association with them, and we went to visit them and see what they do.
Yes.
And they gave us a whole lot of very useful stuff to put on tablets, which doesn't require Wi-Fi. Which is a bonus, so that when they go to the school or whatever, it doesn't have to be Wi-Fi for them to. And we try and balance it, not just do digital learning, because everyone says, "Oh, you don't just want the kids on, so young on devices." So they'll split the group. They'll do device stuff with the one half, and then do creative activities or physical stuff with the other half, and then swap around.
Well, I'm sure it's probably easier for you instead of being in the city. Being out there, the kids are gonna be out and
have
about.
A lot of be outdoor anyway, so there's not too much worry about them getting stuck on their devices.
But it is that's like an addiction,
Yeah, but at the same time, it's very useful, and they take to it like a duck. They love it.
Yeah,
and it's something different, to just listening to the teacher all day.
Yes.
I mean, the teacher's good, but you know what I mean. It always brings a different element.
It pulls them in. I love it. I do. Gary slots on some questions over here as well, and on the screen. How do you ensure that the voices of the local community incorporate into your projects?
So we try and consult. We've got our people on the ground that we talk to, and we've got a little sort of advisory group with reps from the different lodges who can also give input to us about things that they need or would like.
Do they get involved and have you got some good people there?
Yeah, we do.
Because
and the nice thing is that, the people that live and work for Amakhala, most of them have been there for generations. There's some that have come in new from outside, as it were. But so a lot of them know the area and the communities and their communities very well.
So they care.
They care because they've been there.
Yes. Oh, that's good. And how do you sort of measure the impact of this sort of thing? It's a bit of a technical question, but how do you? I mean, the measurement of anything is difficult. But
it's a very good question, and actually, it's something we probably haven't done enough of.
Yeah, well, nobody does. I think nobody does.
But it's a good question, and you've made me think now that we really need to put some more M&E processes, in place and try and track the kids.
Yeah.
And, we get kids in from Makhanda and Patterson and Alexandria for their environmental education programs. Maybe track and see how many of them end up taking biology or what it's now life science as a subject. How many go into those kind of careers? How are our own children doing that? Leave from Sudbury School to go to school in Makhanda or Gqeberha or Kariga or wherever. How are they doing now? Further down.
Where does it end? So where do they go? They go to grade. So there's grade R, and then to the other school. How far does that?
Grade
go?
R 1, 2, and 3, and then after grade 3 they've got.
And then they go to Grahamstown, or they go to what's Grahamstown, Makhanda now.
Yes. They either go there or they come here to Gqeberha or to what's now Kariga, Utenake.
Okay.
It's hard because they go away at a young age and they're going to stay with family and things, because most of the no-feeding play schools, well, almost all don't have hostels.
Yeah.
So they end up with, staying with family, and they can't come home every weekend either. It's too expensive. So it's not easy.
Boarding school. We've been through that with a couple of our guests. Is it good for a child to be in boarding school? Is it not good? I don't know. Were you at boarding school?
No, I wasn't, but Richard was.
Yes. Well, the Gushes are saying all the Albany guys, they're all there. Graham College or Kingswood or something.
Yeah.
That'll be one of them.
I think it just varies from school to school, what boarding schools like. It also varies from child to child. Some love it, some just really don't want to do it.
Don't like it. Yeah,
but it's also changed a lot, I think, from very like dormitory style.
Yes,
to
it
being
has.
quite
I'm
homely.
Sure. I'm sure. What are some of the biggest challenges that you face with the foundation, with your conservation community work?
One of them is distances. So nothing is close. Everything you want to do involves some form of travel. It's the reserve itself is quite spread out.
Yeah.
So the communities are spread out, the lodges are
In a
spread out.
bucky.
Yeah, so
in
if
the
you want
mud.
people to come for a training course or whatever, there's always transport involved.
Okay.
The particular lodge owners have to get their staff to our computer training center. Whatever we want to do, there's transport involved. So and that takes time and money and all of that kind of thing. So distances are a bit of a thing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, alcohol is a big challenge
really?
in our community, and it's not something we've actually tackled as such yet, and we really need to.
Yeah.
Because it does affect a lot of things. It affects the home environment.
It becomes part
kind
of
the
it.
source of all evil to a large extent. And people, unfortunately, with more disposable income, has come definitely higher levels of alcohol usage. So I would say that's a challenge.
Sure.
And I think just to give the young children vision and hope, that there are careers they can move into, there are things they, can do. And the English language thing, we keep working on that. The little primary school is English medium.
Okay.
And while very much a proponent of learning in your mother tongue is important,
Yes.
but they do also need to have good English skills, especially to go into the hospitality industry.
Yes. Which, I mean, if they're going to stay around there, that is the biggest industry there, I suppose. Eh?
But a worrying thing, trend that I've recently learned about is that all our young people want to do is go overseas. All of them.
Really?
All of them. We recently had a group of about 10 that are either already working, at our lodges, or have finished matric and they're taking a kind of gap year sort of thing.
Yeah.
And one of my colleagues and friends, she does a bit of sort of career counselling, workplace counselling, training, etc., and did a workshop with them and asked them, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
Yeah.
And I think 8 out of the 10 of them said overseas.
Wow. Yeah,
Which I think in a way is quite worrying.
Yeah.
Because it means they feel like they don't have a future.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm misinterpreting it. Maybe they just kind of see that's where people go.
Yeah,
make
it's
money
the
and then
thing
come
that's,
back.
yes, they come back with a whole lot of money.
No.
I don't know, for me, it's South Africa and I mean, our area, the Eastern Cape, is just so unspoiled, natural. It's beautiful.
Yeah. It's
And you just don't get that overseas.
yes.
So, I mean, well, very
But maybe
rarely.
they need to go.
Well, it's going to cost you to get that overseas. You know, it's
Yes.
never.
Yes. Maybe you need to go and experience
check
it and
it out.
realize,
And
what
then
they've
come
got
back.
home.
Yeah, I'm
Grass
hoping.
isn't always greener on the other side.
Absolutely, you're right. And future plans for the foundation. What is your dream?
I would like to go bigger into the health sector. We don't do much on the health side at the
Okay.
moment, and I think that would include things like alcohol and drug abuse, anti-alcohol and
Wow.
drug abuse programs, and more into psychosocial support
Okay.
as well, because I do feel like a lot of young people don't have the decision-making skills to make good decisions, and they make poor decisions often, and that includes, sadly, suicide as well. We've had
Depression.
two instances in the last year and a half
Sure.
of 2 young men. One, in fact, was our environmental education officer for a while.
Yo.
And things just go wrong on a weekend, fight with the girlfriend or fight with the friends, and then,
Depression. And
or,
no one.
just like, this is bad and I can't cope with this. And
So
and make some kind of extreme decisions. So I think psychosocial support. We do have a very nice new socio-emotional life skills program that's starting up.
Okay.
That one of our part-time guys, who's actually a game guide and everything as well, very versatile guy, Malumzi Matiwane, he's gone on training for that. So he's going to be implementing that with school children.
Okay.
But I've already asked him if he thinks he could do that with like the young adults, as well, because I think there's a lot of that we'd like to go into. And then also maybe things like savings groups and, small business training and just something around economic development.
Yeah, because I mean that can change somebody's life around, if they've just got those tools.
Yes.
To go, give people tools, and all of a sudden they can.
And
make a success.
There's a foundation that works around the other side of Grahamstown there with Kwandwe Game Reserve.
Yes.
Called the Angus Gillis Foundation, or they're now called Ubunye. But they've had very big success with savings groups.
Okay.
What we would call a stokvel.
Stokvel, yeah. Okay.
But almost as mobilizing mechanisms for other things then. They get people together around that.
Okay.
But then once they're together around that, they start working with them on starting a preschool or starting a small business, starting other projects. Yeah. So I think they're quite strong mobilizing mechanisms.
And that gives you an amount of money to start with, I suppose.
Yes, and a reason
Capital.
to be together and to start thinking about your community and what's happening in and around your community.
Yeah.
So I'd like to go do some of that work as well. Self-help groups.
And
so there's work to be done.
But what sort of personally motivates you to do this stuff?
I think I've always had a heart for community work. I've worked in NGOs all my life. And it's kind of what I do. What I like to do, specifically in education and literacy, literacy support. I do have a passion for getting children reading and loving reading and doing well.
Well, we'll dig into that. We'll dig into that in a bit. I've got a couple of comments here. Let's have a quick quiz. People coming in. So Rob Rudman says, "Hi, Gino. How's it, Rob? Nice to see you." And I see is it Wes Gush? The Gush family tuning in.
Yeah.
Excellent. Brian Serrao, of course, I love the Gush family. They played cricket for Sudbury. Good friend of the late John. And is that family?
That's right, my father-in-law.
Oh, okay, excellent.
No, he was a famous cricketer.
There we go. Brian knows him. He knows him there. And do you play any role in the reserve itself, at the Amakhala Reserve?
I do, because I am also a part owner of Woodbury Lodge and Tented Camp, which is part of Amakhala Game Reserve. Okay. So I go to the quarterly meetings in my capacity as head of the foundation, but then I also chip in, as a co-owner.
Okay.
So I guess I do, in that sense, play a role in the reserve as well.
Okay. Good. All right. And biggest environmental threats that you're currently addressing? Are there any projects that
wind farms?
Oh, really? The threats of wind farm.
Yeah.
So really.
Yeah. We're not saying wind farms in themselves are bad things. We obviously need alternative sources of energy.
Yes.
But it's where you place them and how big they are, and what they can have quite serious impact.
For sure.
On the environment.
Yeah.
Birds, bats, etc. And also just visually. For guests, and our guests are, our tourism is our lifeblood here to a large extent now, for the game reserves.
And the wind farms are springing up everywhere. I know that. Yes.
So that is a thing, and obviously, poaching is an ongoing threat. You can never relax because the guys. They get active, if they've been active in an area where they're getting pinned down or then they just move to another area. You think, it's all going quiet, it's going to be fine. And then just suddenly.
They've got things to make. They've got, targets to get. It's crazy. And it just becomes an industry, and then the industry, has to find some outlet, it's just like, so it's a never ending battle, I'm sure.
It is ongoing.
How do you ensure that your conservation practices are based on the latest scientific research and methodologies? Gary's he's putting in the questions for you tonight.
We do. We have a full-time ecologist.
Okay.
And she's got a little team around her.
Okay.
And so she does, a lot of research.
Yeah.
We have a general manager as well that would be keeping an eye on things. But she does most of the research, and her team. She has 2 interns usually. So they do do a lot of research and monitoring, and try to stay on top of what needs to be done.
As well.
Yeah.
Gee, so the team is there, and food security and access to clean water in the communities. I mean, how do you guys actually get involved in that as well, or is that just municipal?
So food security wise, I mean, we obviously encourage the communities to have vegetable gardens. We will till the ground for them, if they recently asked for a tractor to plow, so we'll support.
So you support
where
that?
we can. Steve Martins is involved with the concert. He does aquaponics as well.
Right.
So we do look at aspects of that. Clean water, we obviously try and provide as best we can. We actually interestingly had a collaboration with a PhD student from Rhodes University who worked with the communities and showed them. She had like a little water testing kit that they could utilize themselves to how pure their water is, or how good their water is.
Good for drinking or not.
Yes. Yeah.
So stop the sickness. No, she was because it must be you're right out there in the sticks. You've got to organize these things. See, Chantel coming in with some more comments here. We love what you do. You keep the fabulous work. Thank you, thank you, Chantel. Yeah, I mean we've got to put all these things out there. If it's in a different world, we here in PE, we here in Gqeberha, and we don't often get to know what's happening just out on our doorstep.
Yes, yes. And I must say, the game reserves generally are all doing good work in the sort of foundations. Most of them have got foundations or doing some form of community, socio-economic, upliftment and development work. So I think it's important that people know that. Yeah. It's not just
it's not just
a commercial. It's not just people taking money. It's not
Yeah.
just a commercial operation. It is actually putting a lot into development of the communities in and around the reserves as well.
It's in a big way. I mean, I really do see it all over. The game farms particularly are very involved in that sort of thing, which is great for the communities. They have to do it. If they don't, they're going to get wrapped around the knuckles, I'm sure.
And the guests love it. The guests actually, they seem to pay those conservation levies with a smile because they feel, most of them are overseas guests, so they feel like they're contributing to conservation, to community development, to doing something good for the area. So it's also good for the guests. They feel good. They can go away feeling good.
They're helping a lot, even just by being there. The main challenges with the game reserve. What are the big challenges on a game reserve in general? What would you say?
Well, finance is always, each lodge is run, individually, but the reserve is run as a whole.
All right.
So you've got big expenses. You've got to patrol. You're patrolling and checking the fences every single day. And it's we're now up to nearly 9,000 hectares.
9,000 hectares.
Big costs involved in anti-poaching unit, in maintenance, in roads. It's a big job. It's a big operation. So financially, that's a challenge. Marketing, you obviously got to stay competitive.
Yeah.
So a lot of funding goes into that as well. Got to go to the World Trade Show.
You've got to be better than the guys next to you.
Yeah, you got to go to the World Trade Show. You've got to constantly be, social media.
Do you get to go over, or does Richard, your husband, get to go?
We haven't yet. We used to go quite often to the big national, the tourism and Indaba in Durban.
Oh, yes,
We've been for a few years now, but we used to do that quite a lot ourselves. Some of our members have been over to Germany and to the UK. We haven't been, but some do go.
You don't get that ticket anymore. I think it's very unfair that Cathy doesn't get to go to Germany and America.
I've got to pay for myself.
Yes, she'll be very good, guys. How do you balance tourism and wildlife conservation? That's a difficult one.
It is quite a difficult one, but I think it can be very symbiotic in that, the money comes in, you can then spend more money on conservation. The money comes in from the tour. We have a very good model, I think, on Amakhala, in that your number of tourists that you could put onto the reserve is tied to your land ownership. So for every 50 hectares that you own or have put into the reserve is one bed.
Oh, okay.
So if you've put in, let's say, 300 hectares. You can only have 6 beds. You can't suddenly put up a
Yo.
hotel with 50 beds and put 50 people onto the reserve every day
Okay,
and
okay.
just ride it flat.
So they're
we
limiting
control
it.
the numbers by the amount of
In
land.
general, so that's across the country. That's
I don't
is
know
that
if everyone else has that model, but that's certainly our model, is just to preserve it from being overutilized, overrun, overdriven,
Wow.
over yeah.
Because that sounds like something that should probably be put into legislation eventually. I wonder.
And we do like to pride ourselves on very good guiding practices as well. Our guides, we keep them to a very strict protocol of not going too close to the animals, not harassing them, because unfortunately you do get that, and especially up country. There are a couple of places where it's kamikaze, the guys just go in and there's like 10 vehicles right on top of a poor lion's trying to have his supper or make his kill.
And often the animals haven't got a middle finger that they can raise to it,
So we do try and be very good about our practices as well.
So tell me a little bit about the tech that you guys are using there. Is that mainly used for the protection, or is it and what sort of things do you got there? Drones and
it's drones. It's small aircraft as well, and binoculars and tracking devices, and it's
monoculars
largely for the rhino.
Is that but like is that like something that you hold?
I presume so.
A monocular. Tell us, Richard, what is it? Something you hold like this? It's like this, where you hold it up. You hold it up and go, "Good Lord!" Oh, my word. How does the Amakhala family sort of fit into the family of local game reserves? Do you guys work together?
Yes, we do. We do very much so. There's something called Ndalo, which is actually an association of the private game reserves in the Eastern Cape. So Shamwari, Amakhala, Kariga, Lalibela, Pumba, Kwanwe, they're all part of an association called Ndalo, which works together on policies, on sometimes fighting wind farms, on the anti-poaching. We all contribute to one particular guy who's like the guru on tracking, tracking the movements of people and animals and that sort of thing. So there's a lot of collaboration, cooperation.
Sure.
And the big vision is to start dropping fences and have a major,
of course, like
conservation landscape initiative, they call it.
Okay.
Dr. William Foles, who was very instrumental in starting Amakhala, he's very much at the forefront.
Lord, we'd like to have William on the show.
Yes.
You've asked him a few times, but he doesn't like to come on too much.
Oh, no, I'll work on him.
You work on him for me.
He's so interesting. He can tell you a lot more about that. But that's, from sort of addo to fish, the vision is to have one major protected area. Not that it will all be game reserves. You'll still have farms and things in between,
it goes out into
but it
the
will
sea.
be a protected area, which already helps a lot, because it means you can't can and can't do in a protected area.
No, I love that, but I'm interested to find out that it's often fighting the wind farm. So there is this encroachment that's kind of happening.
And as I say, we're not saying wind farms are
entirely
bad, but
no, the guys that are doing
it, to be done in moderation.
They also look at it in an environmentally friendly kind of way of producing power instead of a power station.
Yes, but then it has its own
it's got its own drawbacks as well. So they've got to really be careful. I'm sure there's this whole tiptoe thing happening from both parties.
Absolutely,
I'm sure.
And obviously, for some farmers, if they have those on their farm, it's hugely lucrative.
Money. It's money for them.
So they say, it's all very well for you to say you don't want that, but
well, hy het geld vir jou dinge. Ek gaan ons moet nog geld. It's true. What are the biggest income drivers for a farm like that? Where do you get most of the money coming? Gary's hitting the hot spots here.
The tourism and accommodation. We do sell surplus game at times.
Okay.
But definitely the biggest income driver are the tourists.
Okay, and you get the cruise guys coming in as well. Do you get those?
Yes, they go on the day trips mostly. They don't stay so much.
Yes.
They go. We do have one of our co-owners is licensed to run a day safari.
Wow.
And they do quite a lot of
I
that.
think they should stay overnight, personally. I think it would be great, because then you can get much more money out of them.
But I guess that's not how cruises generally
No.
work around the world.
Yeah,
hey, the guys
yeah,
go
no.
for
They
a
come
day
in
and
the
then
morning,
come back to the boat again.
Go around there,
Yeah.
they quickly get whipped out to wherever they need to go, and then they come back.
But
again.
still, it's another nice
Yeah.
source of income.
It is lovely, and it looks like it's picking up. They're coming in all the time.
Mm.
Future plans for Amakhala in general?
Yeah, to expand, I guess.
Expand.
The land.
Always.
The land, the footprint.
Yeah, and
So-
take down those fences.
And
Yeah.
possibly take down fences with neighbors.
Yeah. Won't be like, oh, you've got our rhino today.
No, well, exactly.
Give them back.
That is one of the issues. It's not just for like a simple thing of dropping
Yeah.
fences. So
Of course.
what if all the game go
Yes,
that
go
side
onto
and
one
our-
side.
and
There's
our guests
somebody
have got no one, nothing
throwing
to
out
see,
breadcrumbs? You must throw
or-
breadcrumbs.
or-
They'll come.
So it's as that little Oreo ad goes, it's complicated.
Yes, I'm sure. You can throw some food around your Woodbury place.
Yeah.
You go, Amakhala's got all the game. Oh my word. Okay, so
And there are some differences, obviously, in how ecologically how you manage your your property. So you
Yeah.
have to iron those out.
okay, yeah.
But I think
Different ways.
that is the dream. Where hopefully it will eventually.
Yeah, especially with this, like you say, getting the land back to what it was as well. You know,
Yes.
I mean, we in those early days in the 1800s, 1700s, this place was teeming with game.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
amazing.
And we had everything.
Everything.
before. Most of it, unfortunately, got shot out.
Oh yeah, well,
we are
Gap's
trying to-
going to shoot out
We are
That
trying
stuff.
you're trying to restore to a large extent.
to get back there. I mean, I don't know. Is there anything that's not here that should be here?
I don't think so. No.
I think
No.
we got most of it back again, but
Yeah.
but slowly,
Yeah.
catchy monkey, whatever it is. Yeah. How much does the government help or hinder your conservation efforts? Did they help? Maybe with the national unity, we might find it better.
Yeah. Precious little, as far as I
Okay.
know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say they hinder.
Yeah.
But help is certainly
So
for the
few
private
and
game
far,
reserves is very thin on the
Few
ground.
and
I think
far.
they think, you guys are fine,
Yeah.
you're generating income in this, do your own thing.
Yes, using the land to generate.
It would help if they, in terms of I suppose
Yeah.
I was incentives, especially rhino protection, but I guess they've got their hands full with their own reserves.
Yeah, I'm sure, and sandparks and that whole thing as well.
they're barely managing, to keep
Do you
them-
guys do any work along with them? I mean, you're saying that the sandparks guys gave it the black rhinos.
No, that is actually East Cape Parks Board.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So there are at times, collaborations.
Okay.
Certainly no enmity,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
there are at times collaborations, but I think they're also
Yes.
limited in what they
Yeah.
can do.
For sure. All right. Well, I think we're gonna get to Simon in for a bit here. So we've got
Simon's
to
been waiting.
dive into. Yes, he's waiting for it because we're going to talk about the concert that's happening as well,
Very
which
exciting.
Simon's doing. And then you hang on, go and sit next to your husband there. We're gonna hang on and we'll dive
Chat a
into
little bit more later.
get a bit of the personal stuff out.
Okay.
Yes,
Thanks,
we'll
Gino.
think of it. Right. And Simon Shaw, please come in, sit down. We've got there we go. There's your 22nd of June. It's coming, Simon.
Saturday.
I know this is
How
and
you
it's what
doing,
is it, the
Gino?
second time or third time you've been on my show.
It is the second time.
Second
I've been
time.
on your show.
Lordy.
Yeah.
People knew you because of the rooftop the rooftop stuff in COVID. That's what you
No.
did so nicely. Oh, I love that.
I know that was a very smart move, giving away
Yeah.
the charity money there because
Yes. You made
it
a lot
came
of-
back like
Oh, did it come
I
back?
mean, you had Catherine has done some articles on us with the Herald, and you had Catherine on the other day.
Yes. Catherine Kimberley,
to-
she's a
to
legend, yes.
Follow up on how things have been going.
Yeah, and you've got this concert coming up now. You become a bit of a concert organizer these days. You know.
you got to sort of diversify.
Hey?
I don't want to fly airplanes, so it's
Yeah,
keep doing this.
Are you
Um,
still piloting it? Are you still
No,
doing
I
it?
haven't flown since I resigned in 2022.
Okay.
eh?
She would say. So
Yeah,
don't
so-
get in a plane yet because he hasn't done
No,
it for a while.
don't make me something. It's been a while. But
Okay.
no, so with regards to like
Yeah,
the concert,
the concert,
it's the second time we're doing this thing. So it initially just started with an idea where Cathy mentioned Steve Martins. He's a friend
Yeah,
of mine
yes.
and is involved with the Levenbosch Country House.
Levenbosch.
Levenbosch Country
Tell me
House,
about
yes.
that as well. That's also is it part of the
That's
Amakhala.
the Folds' side of
Okay.
of Amakhala. Yeah.
Okay.
And Steve and his wife Kerry manage and look after the day-to-day runnings of the
Okay.
place, as far as I understand. I don't know the inner workings.
They couldn't be here tonight. They're out partying with their daughters.
Steve tells me that his daughters, who are still school days, were desperately wanted them to come partying with them in Jeffreys Bay for the surfing competition. But,
That's the surfing compo. That's probably with
and then now
Harry Kroc.
Steve is very tired today, and he hasn't made it out.
Listen, I know Harry Kroc is organising that thing. I think
Oh,
that's
goodness.
the WSL, and that's going to be a party of note. So I can
know.
understand why Steve's got a headache today.
Yes,
Yeah,
Steve, you're missed.
yeah. So the Lebone choirs, we're going to be there as well.
Yeah, so,
Hey, they've got a choir.
So we'll have. I mean, I'm calling it a mini boutique festival. The idea being we can one day build it up to include more people and things, and it's something that it sort of stemmed from an idea. I met some foreigners who are based in Port Alfred at a show I did in Kenton, and they asked when we were going to be back in that side of the world. Yeah. And I just started communicating with them, and I was like, well, how about we put something together for you? And so it initially started as, well, let me just put a party together with maybe myself and another musician, and we get a DJ and we do something. And then I started thinking, well, Steve's been mentioning he'd love to do something out at Levenbosch it's not on the reserve with the animals, it's just off the airstrip area.
Oh, lovely. Okay.
And so we started chatting, and then I communicated with the foreigners, and they were very keen on the idea, and then we thought, well, why don't we just expand it a little bit and see if we can build something.
Excellent.
Like a little bit of a. I mean, I feel like we're a little bit lacking music festivals around.
Yeah.
Local festivals, definitely. That sort of includes some of more of the local guys as well.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can get to that point.
I saw you put a call out for an APB on anybody that's not doing any gigs to come and have a bit of a jolt. I love that.
Yeah. So that was sort of to try and keep everybody included, because obviously we have limited budget. We've only done this once. And we had a lovely turnout the last time, but as you know, at this point, I'm paying for all the musicians myself.
Yes,
so I need to recoup a little bit.
Yes, of course.
So I mean, we'll see how this one goes.
Yeah.
And
you
we're doing it every 3 months at this point.
Okay.
And
every 3 months. Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
So that's why we're doing it in the middle of winter.
I see that.
Yeah, it's a ballsy move.
It sounds like so you'll have a nice fire. Nice bonfire or something.
There'll hopefully be plenty of fires, not too many big fires.
Yeah. No, we'll have a fire. Because it's got it makes me think like some sort of country festival or a little vibe and a thing.
I mean, we've got Big Man and Bear playing with us again. Yes. At this one.
It's Hugo and
Megan.
They are
legendary. They are country. Yeah, there they are. And you see Tion and James on that picture.
I see Tion as well, standing on his bass. Yes. How did he manage like that?
Cool trick with the...
There we go. 220 Rand, and gives you a camping pass, 100 Rand as well.
Yeah. So basically, if you're just coming in for the festivals, 220. If you're going to spend the night and camp, then it's another $100, and there will be food on sale, and we'll have a little bar. We're going cashless, so everything will be tapping. Okay. And then, so with regards to that price, the price was originally 200, but then when we did the last one, apparently some of the guests could hear the music at one of the other lodges late at night, and they were told that it was a fundraiser for conservation.
Yes.
So with this one, we just decided,
fundraiser.
Let's actually just make it a fundraiser.
Yeah.
So we said, okay, we'll do 10% of ticket prices are going to go to the Amakhala Foundation, which is why we got
straight to Cathy, and she's going to buy some earrings and a few pairs of shoes for herself. Excellent. No, that'll be magic. And I mean, I love the place. So you can come out and camp on the reserve, which is quite a thing.
Yeah, it is. I mean, like I said, it's not the section of the reserve that's got the anything dangerous, but there are some zebra and some warthogs that were wandering around in those parts the last time we were out.
Oh, that's cool. They can still tear you apart. It's not a problem.
Too close. And then and we've got the last one, Overberg stretch tents. Lee helped us out with one of those fancy stretchy tent.
Nice, things, like a Moroccan tent.
which was great. And then we
keeps
had all
the
the
heat
lights.
in.
And when you're out in the bush there, really, I think it looked fantastic. I mean, we had all the lights underneath it. It
Yeah.
lights up like this little oasis of light in the
Beautiful.
darkness out in the bush. And we had fairy lights around the
Nice.
edges and things. It was very cool.
No,
We had,
so a proper, it's a proper bushveld Joel.
yes. I mean,
like that.
we're running it on inverter batteries and things. Take my solar system along,
Perfect.
plug the battery out there, and drive it for the night
on
on that.
batteries, because so you got your PA, little PA system, and then like you said, the guys that'll be there. So it's going to be Big Man and Bear.
Big Man and Bear. Then it'll be myself. So it's really just two bands, but those bands are made up of Hugo and Megan with Big Man and Bear.
Yeah.
Then myself, James van der Merwe, and
On
Tian
saxophone,
Ace. So James will be on saxophone. If anybody hasn't seen the video of him singing the opera mashup stuff, it's worth watching.
He's a good singer too.
He's incredibly talented.
Yeah.
And we've got Tian Ace, who's also
Great
a
bass
phenomenal
player.
musician, bass.
Yeah.
He
plays all
bounces
sorts.
from double bass to bass to he can
Yes.
pull out the saxophone he needs to. He's
Really.
also a multi-instrumentalist.
And he's lovely to watch. I'll enjoy it.
Yes.
He's always like got a.
Actually, I did a wedding with him on Saturday, and I said to him at the end, I'm like, dude, thank you so much for always pitching up and being there.
Giving
no
it
matter
horns.
what it is, once
Yeah.
he's there, like he's there, he's present.
Yeah, he is.
And
he is.
he's in it, which
He
is
loves it.
good to see. Because sometimes you see the guys feel like they're
Yeah,
there to
yeah.
collect their paycheck
Yeah,
and they want to
no,
go
no,
home already.
he's not that guy.
Tian's in it.
And the same with Hugo and Megan.
Yes.
They're really good, 150%. So
No,
it's
they had a blast last time
And
as well.
Tell me about Fricky, because I know
Yes,
Fricky with the
we have a
pineapple juice.
last minute edition. So
Yes,
if anybody's ever bought any Oakley pineapple juice,
yes.
which is sold all over the place.
Does he
now.
own Oakley or the farm as well?
Okay, there we go.
So he's actually there on the road. Beautiful stall that app, and it's really expanded over the last couple of years. So Fricky's doing a good job.
Fricky is everywhere. So
Yeah.
obviously, like, with music, we get involved in a lot of the markets and things.
Okay.
And every market, I see Fricky. And then Fricky's
Yeah.
he's at Wildspheres and he's at a Splash Festival. And then I was playing at tapas the other day, and I'm in the parking lot, and I hear Simon, and there's Fricky, and he's offloading
Oh, so-
pineapple juice for Continental.
Yeah, I saw him at the Milk Feast.
yeah,
in
no.
Tues.
So I saw
saw
him in the
it.
parking lot at tapas, and I'd spoken to him a while ago. You know, I mean, like, obviously we'd love to build this thing up to a point where we can get some food trucks involved and make a little bit of a, a thing out of it.
Yeah.
I don't think we're at that point yet.
Yeah.
But initially I went and I spoke to, his name's Frederick, but
Frederik,
we'll call him
Frederik.
Fricky McDonald.
That's it.
I spoke to him a few months ago about, like, if he's keen, he must come pull through and join us. And he's like, no, you'll have to check the market schedule and things because he's got to sell juice.
All right, yeah.
And then I saw him in the parking lot. He's Simon, I'm free. I'm coming.
Coming.
I'm coming.
And he plays a Christmas rhythm.
He is. No, he's sorted. He's got his little concertina, his squeeze box,
Excellent.
and he's got. I mean, for the musicians out there, he comes equipped with a stereo SM57 setup microphone set
All right.
with his own embossed leather stool that he sits on. That's got a squeeze box embossed onto it.
Hey, yo.
He's sorted, and he's got a little stand for his backtrack when he plays.
Love it.
And I think he's actually busy trying to rope Tion into playing
Oh,
bass
I'm sure he
with
will.
him with the concertina on Saturday. We'll see if it happens. But
Some questions.
That's the
Tell us
plan.
more about the experience and when does it start? And,
okay, so the idea is we only start like late afternoon.
Okay.
The last one we started the music at about 6:00. This one we'll probably push it a little bit earlier because it is darker earlier now.
Yeah.
And then it runs till about midnight, 1:00.
Jeez,
So there'll be live music. The format will pretty much be probably 2 hours with Big Man and Bear,
Okay.
2 hours with the three of us.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit collaboration. We'll see how
Little
that
jam.
goes.
Jam.
Then we're going to have Fricky somewhere in the middle there.
In the mix.
He just comes in, smashes a few. He's like he says, it's an impact piece. You just do 2 or 3 songs. You don't want to listen to it the whole night. You just come in, and you play the squeeze box, and then you let everybody carry on, and then you come back later and you do another one. And then we'll get the Amakhala or the Levenbosch Country House Choir come out and sing for everybody. They do probably about 20 minutes.
Lekker.
And
Squeaks.
then we have DJ Squeaks from
Excellent.
Occasion DJs, one of the Barnes
Lovely,
brothers, to
yes.
take us through to the early hours of the morning and keep everybody dancing.
Is he Shane's brother?
He is
Shane's brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she was because I know there's two, but both got into DJing.
Nah,
And
they
of course,
rule
I
the
played
roost,
with
eh?
their father,
Oh, really?
Graham. Yes, he was.
Okay.
He played in a couple of bands I think it was a Taxi. I can't remember which one I played with Graham, but he's a nice keyboard player.
Really?
And
Okay,
guitarist,
well,
I
there's
think.
something I just said.
Yeah. And lovely guy as well. And so clearly both of his sons into the music as well.
Dude, they're such a pleasure. I mean,
Yeah.
I've used them. I mean, when I say I've used them, obviously
Yeah.
some things we
Yeah.
do similar
Collaborations.
things, and sometimes we it's required to have live music and
The
and a
DJs.
DJ, which I think is also, I mean, it is a good combination.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
can't, I mean, you'll know as live musicians, we
Yeah.
can only go so far,
Yeah,
and we can
yeah.
only keep going for so long.
That's it.
Where we eventually we're going to hand over the baton to
Please,
the DJ
yeah.
towards the end
Take it
to
over.
take it through to the early hours. And it is a pleasure to work with them.
Yeah.
You know, Occasion DJs is ruling the rooster around here for a reason. I think. They
They're
really do take it
Great.
very professionally, and it's
Yeah.
a pleasure.
And I know that you just did just before we disappear. I know that you did a fantastic little set at the Stoop tasting recently. Tell us about that. That was
Tastings a jaw there.
yes, it's amazing. And
How we
that's,
went up?
Gordon Wright and the guys.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. So it's the second year I've been up there.
Yeah.
Last year, the Gentlemen's Club hired me in to come and play music, but they hired me till like 7 o'clock.
Okay.
And I said to them, I was like, guys, what happens after 7? No, we've got a club member who's going to DJ for us. And I got there and I looked and I was like, oh no, this is
my
not
soul.
going to go well. They had this plan, they were going to move everything into the hall. I'm like, guys,
Yeah.
there's potentially going to be hundreds of people here.
Yeah.
So anyway, and I'm not a DJ by any stretch of the imagination, but I Spotified my way through those nights. I roped in friends, wives who were there, and I know that they used to DJ at university. I'm like, do you want to DJ? And they're like, yes. After an hour, it's like, we're not DJing anymore.
No, we're sick of it. We're
Yeah.
sick of it. I know.
So we pushed through, but it was a success. It showed potential, and then they brought me in again this year, and actually Pitch and Leeds did a bit of sponsorship for us
Lovely.
and helped us out with Gary
like
and Justin.
Brilliant.
And I took along James Finamava on saxophone,
Excellent.
and then we took DJ Squeaks.
So preparation actually for this one as well.
It's the same outfit, just with more.
Fantastic.
So same vibes. Anyone who's at Slip Tasting, if you feel like reliving that life, that party again, come join us on Saturday. It's going to be a cracker out in the bush.
And what inspired you to use a music concert in such it's like a unique location?
I think I don't think it was a plan that like we overly thought out.
Yeah.
It was just
It's like, hey,
Steve and them were keen to do something at Lebone Bosch. They had the space and the facility was there for us to do it. They put in ablutions out there.
Okay.
It looks stunning, and it's a novelty because now it's not just an experience, a music concert. There's a bit of an experience. There's
Camping experience.
we've got some cool, like there's game drive options you can go on. So the music's only going to start in the evening, but if you want to come just before lunch or like mid-morning, then you can go on a game drive.
Okay.
You can choose to do a game drive in the
because
morning.
they've got discounts and stuff on the
There's some discounts for the people that are going to be
game drives.
Camping there.
That'll be fantastic.
Oh, no, it'll be lekker.
Yeah.
And also, obviously, I've noticed that you've got things like Beats in the Bush happening up in Natal. And
it's a thing.
We mentioned Shamwari's done a thing out there before.
Yes.
So it is there is a bit of a trend around the country. It just hasn't really been pushed yet.
And it brings people into the fold to see, what's happening.
I've got a plan for the next one is to take advantage of the fact that we've got a big 4x4 in community, and you've got the Jimny Club, and we're already calling this thing Amarok's.
Yes, Amarok. Amarok and Jive.
Don't forget we're coming.
Do a lot of people stay over?
So last time we had about 50 campers, and then a few people checked into the lodge. The lodge is fully booked now, so there's no space to stay in the lodge anymore.
Okay, so you can't stay in the lodge itself, but so you can do a tenting experience,
Yeah, you bring your own tent.
Bring your own tent, set it up.
We're going to provide hot water this time, that you can fill up your hot water bottle before you go to bed in your tent.
Okay, so you're going to help them.
Yeah, I think it's only fair.
Those toilets that you put in, is that just a hole in the ground?
No, Steve, I don't know. Ask Steve what's underneath it, but there's an actual building with walls and stuff.
Okay.
I think he panicked the last time because I think he finished on the morning that we all arrived.
Holy crap.
Putting the final pieces together of it. But no, it's pretty sorted now.
So they can make the most out of the night.
Yeah.
What else can they do? I mean, I suppose the game drive is great, and then
There's the game drive option, and it's really, I
There'll be
suppose,
others-
it's the experience of being out there, and
So,
I think the community this time is going to be a little bit more involved. I know there's
Okay.
people coming from Shamwari. They've got the volunteers that are going to
Wow.
be coming. They've got veterinary students that are apparently joining.
okay.
So, and obviously there's the Woodbury Cricket Club that was mentioned earlier, which
Woodbury,
is just
there we
across
go.
the road, pretty much. I've actually done parties out there before too.
Oh,
for that
really?
lot, yeah. So hopefully some of those characters come in.
Well, what are you looking
Gotcha.
forward to the most?
It's the whole experience. I mean, I had a ball the last time. You know, it is. I mean, I'm sure you know with doing shows and stuff, when it goes well and you see everybody having fun and they've had a blast,
Yeah.
and it's cool. Like you I mean, obviously you are doing it for your own
Yeah.
benefit at some point.
Yeah,
I mean, like
yeah.
there's always an element. We're not doing all of this
Yeah.
for free.
Yeah.
We're also still making. You know, this is how we pay our bills and
Yeah.
things. But you know, when everybody has a blast,
Yeah.
and you look at it and you're like, yes, that's cool.
Yeah.
And you put it together, and you know, there's pride
Well, I
in
mean,
those sort of things.
300 rand or whatever it is, 200 plus the 100 if you want to do. I mean, that's nothing.
It's nothing.
It's
And you
nothing.
know what? Like I was thinking about it earlier. You know, there would obviously be a limit in the future with how
Yeah,
far we
yes.
push this. I mean, it's never going to be
It's early days.
thousands, but it would
Yeah.
never ever be thousands of
Yeah.
people. That wouldn't be the concept.
But
The
Woodstock.
concept would always be small.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, if the numbers do jump up in the future up to a certain, you know,
Yeah.
definitely sub 500, but
Yeah.
then the prices can come down.
Yeah.
We can get more people involved in terms of musicians. We
Well, I
can,
don't
we
think-
can
I mean,
build a bigger concept.
I think it could raise more money for Amakhala as well. So
Exactly.
that's great. I mean, it's like and to get in now when it's small is the time to do it, because you're gonna be
Yeah.
part of the family. You know.
No,
It's-
well, this is the whole
great.
thing. This is why I sent out that message to you guys,
Yes, yes.
along with everybody else, saying like
I
we
love it.
can't put all the musicians on stage because we just don't have the budget for
Yeah,
this.
yeah, sure.
This one.
Sure.
But anybody who's a working musician, if
Yeah.
you're part of the cast of one of the theatre shows that's going on at the
Yeah,
moment, with the Gilbert
brilliant.
Sullivan guys, if you're an orchestral player, if you're a university student studying music,
Yeah.
I can't remember what other categories I've got a few people sort of handing out invites
Yeah.
and saying like, if you're involved in that, in the arts and culture and the performance side of things, give us
Yeah.
a shout
It's
and we'll put you
even
on the
more
list.
fun.
No ticket price for you. You guys are coming for free.
Yeah. Oh, great. Lovely.
For the people that are involved.
And
in
then
the-
you
in
go
our game.
just sing for your supper. But
Yeah, no, they don't have to sing nothing. Just buy
Let's
a
go.
beer at the bar.
yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
lovely. That'd be lovely.
That's-
Okay, now
that's
so
kind of
tell
it.
us how to get tickets, how to get there.
Okay, so
yeah.
I'm not sure exact distance from here, but it's like 60 km.
Take the road to Nanaga.
From my house, it's 74 to live to.
Okay. Do you go on the
Lebone
Grahamstown
Bosch.
Road,
Yeah.
past Nanaga, and then hit the Grahamstown Road from past Nanaga, not the coastal road?
And then it's first Bush Lodge turn off, and then Lebone Bosch Country House. Yeah.
Levenbush Country House.
And
the right-hand
you
side?
hook a right onto Lebone Bosch, and then it's going to be, you go through the gate and it's like the first left. There'll be a sign. You're going
Shamwari
to
on
drive
the left.
all the
and-
way down the
Levenbush.
runway where the airplanes are, and you'll find us on the far side there. But you can
Lekker.
get tickets on Quicket as
So
well.
look for the aeroplanes.
Look, well, the airplane should hopefully not be in the sky when this is happening.
No, on the ground. I mean, no, they're parked airplanes.
Yeah, I think we'll
Yes.
be in a hangar somewhere.
Oh, okay, okay.
But yeah, you can get tickets on Quicket.
Okay, excellent.
It's-
Cricket.
I'm a rock and jive.
I'm a rock and jive.
Yeah.
And you see, I'm wearing my,
Yeah, you
my
look like you're ready
outfit
for
as well.
safari.
I even got my compass here. Check it. I've got compass to see where
You've
you
got a
guys
knife
were.
in your pocket there.
I
Ready
know,
for
everything. You never know. Got to be ready for everything.
course.
Simon, thank you. And thank you for coming on just to
thanks for having me
chat.
again, man.
We're going to get Cathy back on because
Yes.
we're going to just chat to her. We're going to do the getting to know you questions a bit and find out a bit about Cathy, because you've brought her to us, and I'm so glad.
No. Good luck.
Thank you, Simon.
getting nervous.
No, come in. We've got a couple of questions. To getting to know you.
Getting to know all about you.
Like that. You like a little bit of Julie Andrews. Julie Andrews. Who was it? This is Julie Andrews. I think it was. Getting to know you. We like the Levenbush choir. No, these are just some silly questions, and they dig into your personality a little bit. You see, so where first of all, history. Where are you from? Where were you born? You're not an Eastern Cape originally.
No, I'm not in Eastern Cape originally, but I am now.
Yeah, yes, you are
I
for
was
sure.
born in Somerset West.
Somerset West.
Yeah.
Yes, so it was lekker geweest. Was your family obviously there?
Yes.
What were your mom and dad into? What were they?
Well, they were, my mom very much into tennis and my dad very much into soccer.
How very colonial.
So
Tennis.
I grew up next to the tennis courts in summer and next to the soccer fields in
Oh,
winter.
is it? Okay, okay.
My dad was actually very good. He took me everywhere with him. It wasn't because I was a girl. He was like, "No, you're not coming football with me."
Okay.
So I grew up next.
Was
to
he a
soccer fields.
professional football player?
No, he coached. He
Oh,
coached juniors all his
wow.
life.
Okay, wow.
And taught me to score at cricket. So I was the first team cricket scorer and things like
So
that.
because not many ladies were scoring back in those days either.
No. It was good fun because like 22 guys and me.
Yo, did you do your umpire's course and everything?
No, I didn't.
Not.
But I still follow cricket very
Okay.
avidly. It's a
Okay.
sport I like. I still play tennis.
Okay, so you liked a bit of sport and the bowls as well, because I know you used to
bowls is for old people. I'm not there yet.
No, I've got the character called Dolores that does the bowls.
Oh, right.
And yes, you're right. It's when you can't do the tennis anymore.
Yeah.
When you start lobbing, you must just tell her, Richard, when she starts lobbing too much, then it's time for bowls.
Playing for time.
and then Richard came down. Did he come down to you? Did you move up here? How did you move?
No, we met in the backyard actually.
Oh, really?
It's a very funny story. I won't go into it now. But,
no, tell us a story. I like a story.
He went to UCT.
Oh,
to
yes.
Stellenbosch.
Oh, I see.
And he had to do some back work, and he was house sitting for a family of his that live in Somerset West.
Okay.
And the only person he knew was the guy who lived next door to us, who I was friendly with as well. And just at that time, we had, between us and the neighbours, decided to take down the hedge and put up a wall. But just at that time, it was the in-between stage where there was nothing. So we could kind of see into each other's yards.
Gee,
He was playing some
good
cricket.
Lord.
He was playing some cricket in the backyard.
I bet you your dad thought twice after that about building another wall. I mean, didn't expect to have some sort of relationship explode after you take down your wall. Oh, that's classic.
So,
I love that.
yeah. So then he still had another year of engineering to do at UCT. I started working. And we started dating, and then we got married. In the first 10 years of our married life, we lived in Cape Town. Our two boys were both born
You
there.
married early then, eh?
Yes, we did.
How old were you?
We were 23 when we
23. Oh, I was also 23, so I suppose it's not that bad.
Both our boys were born there, and then we had to make the decision. Richard obviously had his engineering career, but he was attached to the farm.
Yes. Okay, so you still had the farm up. The Gushes still had the farm up
and
this
his
way.
dad was very good. Never put pressure on him to say you must come and farm away. But we
not in
decided
that way anyway. Hey,
we'd
Richard.
like to, and there was no game reserve, no nothing then. You know, when we made the decision to move to the Eastern Cape, or him back and me with him and boys. The game reserve hadn't been thought of. That only came a year or two later.
Was it always called Amakhala or Woodbury? What was
so
it?
So there are 3 Gush farms.
Okay.
Woodbury is one of them.
Okay.
And Brentwood is what I spoke about
Brentwood,
earlier, where the preschool is, and then our farm is called Beacon Hill.
Okay.
And it's the Woodbury part that's gone into Amakhala game. So we still have a home farm called Beacon Hill where we farm cattle.
Okay, cattle farmers.
For cattle.
We were. I was doing the Pinion thing the other day because Pinion is there. They do finances for the guys and also advice for the dairy industry. There.
Yes,
it's amazing how that dairy industry is doing. It's so big out that side.
We're not dairy, thankfully. So Richard doesn't have to get up at 4 in the morning.
You don't have to do that.
Beef cattle.
Beef cattle. Okay. No, it's amazing. I mean, I know the Gush families are all out there. That whole thing is lots of them out, like the Wilmots and all the Gardeners, they're all out there.
No, it's very much an Albany name.
Albany names, yes. And okay, so then you guys, I mean, your parents-in-law must have been very pleased that you moved up. And your folks were
was
like,
very sad.
Yes, it's like, oh no, we can't believe this is happening.
Yeah, exactly.
And
taking our grandsons away from us.
Oh my word! Imagine. But they were saying, "No, you've had them for long enough, you bastards." Okay.
We need them up here.
She was so, and so moving from. I mean, you'd never been on a farm before, or had you?
No, I mean, I had friends that lived on farms. So, but I was obviously not a city girl, but a town girl. So it was an adjustment. But I think it helped a lot that we're not in quite in the middle of nowhere. You know, we were
Right.
fairly close to Grahamstown as it was then, and PE. So
Yes.
I could still, you know, go into town, do some work in
Were there
town.
times when you just thought, no, this is not for me?
No,
Bugger this.
no.
Richard, what have you pulled me into?
No, not really, because also it's a very tight-knit community and there's a
Yeah.
lot going on. I felt like when we moved here, we had a better social life than we did in Cape Town, because
Yeah.
the community makes an effort, you know, to get together.
true.
A lot of the social life is around the sport, you know,
Yeah,
around the
yeah,
tennis
yeah,
or the
of course,
cricket
yeah.
or whatever. So,
And which you liked.
no, it was a
you
joy.
know.
I loved it. Yeah.
So it wasn't a bad move then. It was a really good one.
no.
Eh?
And the
So-
people of the Eastern Cape, as you know,
Yes.
are very
They are
special.
very, very good.
Very special, very family orientated. You know,
Yeah.
everyone's just gets on with life
Yeah.
and gets on with everyone. You know, isn't this like
Yeah.
pulling
For
rank?
sure.
And, you
Yeah,
know,
no. There's no
class
egos.
thing that you get
There's
going,
not
class
big
thing that
egos.
you've got going in
Yeah.
town to some extent.
And what did you study then?
I
Boston.
started out doing a BA in languages because I wanted to do journalism, but
Okay.
Stellenbosch at that stage only offered it postgrad, so you had to do an undergrad. And then in my second year, I decided I'd better do something more serious, so I started with law.
Oh. Ooh.
And I followed that through and I enjoyed that. But I had to make a decision at the end of my third year whether to carry on with the law as a
Yeah.
career or whether to rather go into postgrad social
Okay.
sciences. I was doing sociology and economics as majors.
Okay.
And in the end, I decided that it was going to be a very long road to becoming an advocate or something. And I wasn't really sure that I was up for that.
Yes, yes.
So I decided to do honours in sociology instead.
So she way outstripped you as far as Richard, as far as his studies goes. It's like my wife too. She's got the PhD, and we languish down with the bachelor's.
He's got the engineering degree, but I subsequently got my master's, but only deep, you know, into my 50s, about
Yeah.
10 years ago,
Okay.
long after that.
And that was also the sociology side. So just like you say, 10 years ago, and that was about when you started with the
Yes,
soul
yes.
kind of thing.
But
So-
that was actually my master's in journalism and media studies, but very much with an educational slant.
okay.
Yeah, and the community. It was an action learning, you know, participative research
Yeah.
project. Yeah.
Because I mean, in those early days, it was like if you were born a woman, you go into teaching or nursing. You know, that was the thing. You know, I don't know and in the end, you're ending up wanting to go back to teaching, like
Yes,
teaching
yes.
in a way.
Yes.
I find that interesting. Was that maybe something that you thought? Oh, I
Yes,
should have done
it's interesting that you say that because my elder sister, I'm the Laatlamiki in the family,
Okay,
so my
yes.
elder sister, all she ever wanted to do was be a teacher, and she became a teacher, and she loved teaching, you know,
Yeah.
all her life. And I'm like, I never want to be a teacher. And yeah, life is a funny
Yes.
way of, you know,
Teaches
actually,
you.
will end up there in
Yes, you're gonna go
education.
back. Damn you! You're gonna go back again. Okay, and then so I mean, and then your early jobs. I mean, what is your worst job that you ever had?
Oh, sure. A holiday job, actually,
Yeah,
at the Cape Town municipality, working on their voters' roll, and I so nearly got fired.
on the voters' roll.
Yes,
Oh,
it
my soul.
was excruciatingly boring.
I'm sure.
And I think it was just after matric or after my first year at varsity or something. And we went well off, so I had to get
Yes.
holiday jobs to get extra pocket money.
Okay.
Anyway, on the 24th floor, something of those major, you know, the city council building in Cape Town,
Yes.
that very
Oh,
tall
good
one.
Lord, yes.
And about a week into the job, and I had to go in by train every day to
Yeah.
Cape Town from Somerset West.
Yes.
I got called in by the manager after lunch one day. And I said, no, I've had a complaint from the supervisor. And I'm like, oh. She says you just stay out of the window at the mountain all day.
Cathy is a daydreamer. Did you
Will
get
you
that at
please
school?
desist from staring out at the mountain and do your job? So I very nearly got fired, but it was really boring stuff.
But then you resign. You said, you can't fire me. I resign. I'll stare out the bloody mountain as long as I like. I'm going to get a job where I stare at land.
But yeah, I've actually been very blessed in my life. I've seldom done a job, you know, that I hated. I worked for a while in personnel at the appetizer factory
Oh, wow.
in Elgin,
Gee whiz.
which I really loved.
Elgin, is it in Elgin? Is it
Yes,
where the
yes, and I
appetizers?
loved that. My dad was working there as well, and we commuted with a little bus over every day. And I was in the HR personnel
Oh,
section,
lovely.
and also did job descriptions for the whole factory. So I got to know all the processes of how liquid food are made and appetizers.
That
made,
is a
and
hell of a
fruit
job.
Buying and everything was so interesting, and I still love a factory floor. There's something about a factory
job
floor
descriptions as well. Because that's a hell of a thing to do. It's like to figure out somebody that just, it makes my brain hurt already. Even thinking about it is to try and figure out somebody's job and get all the details.
Yes,
really.
especially if it's something that's quite foreign to you, like like the chemist, or the machine specialist, or
Yes, what do you do?
Yeah.
I think as an entrepreneur, it boggles my mind because we just seem to do everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I'm sure for you at Amakhala, it's the same now. To do your job description would be a bloody nightmare.
Yes, because you do anything and everything.
Yes.
But then...
Yes, and cook as well.
Yes, I mean, initially when we started our lodge, we did everything, the cooking, et cetera, which is really not my thing. And
Hi, please come in.
Exactly.
We put some chocolates on your pillow.
No, but exactly that, because I would cook at home in our farm kitchen, because we had a very small kitchen initially at our lodge. So I'd cook at home and then take the stuff all the way down there, the 5 k's of gravel, and then another 5 k's on the reserve, and hope that the sauce hadn't all spilt out and things like that. And like moaning and complaining to each other, this is like this last thing we feel like doing, and what are we doing, And then we'd get in and say, "Oh, hello, come inside. Hope you enjoy your dinner." Those days are over. We've got staff to do all that.
That's a service industry for you. You just got to put on your smiley face.
And there's a funny story about Richard when we first opened. We weren't even quite open. There was a Thol's wedding.
Oh, right. Okay.
And some of the people got put up at the other lodges.
Okay.
So
wedding guests.
Yes. One of the wedding guests, one of the couples stayed over
Yeah.
at Woodbury Lodge, but it was very, very early days. And,
Yeah.
Anyway, it was about 10 o'clock in the morning or something. Richard went and sort of discreetly knocked at the door and put his head in and said, "Would you guys like some breakfast?" And they sort of surfaced.
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, no, we don't want to keep the kitchen open." So Richard says, "Listen, I am the kitchen."
It's me. I'm up. Damn you.
But it's good to start like that. I mean, we've now, 50 staff, quite a lot of chefs.
Well, you get to know
managers,
everything
but
works.
you know how everything works.
Yeah,
You've built it up over time. You can appreciate what it takes. But coming back to the jobs thing, I've pretty much always worked in jobs that I've enjoyed. The very first job I got actually through my sociology professor.
Oh, okay.
Because he was on the board of, it was the Urban Foundation. It was one of the first big NGOs that was started in the early 80s by Judge Jan Steyn, who approached all the big businessmen like Raymond Ackerman and Oppenheimer and those guys. And they started this foundation to try and kind of also just counter the whole, apartheid setup and get development going with housing and education and that kind of thing. And this professor of mine was on the board as well. And I'd sort of said to him, if you hear of anything, please let me know. And he phoned me one day and he said, "Listen, it's nothing permanent, but one of the people, Ingrid von Schoening, her father, Kurt von Schoening, was the UN ambassador at that stage. She's going to go and visit her parents for 3 months. So if you want to come, just come for 3 months. Let's
do her job.
We can offer and do her job." I said, I'll do it. And I stayed for 7 years.
Gee, but it just shows you.
And that's how I've always been in NGO work, basically.
But obviously, I think you were clearly, you showed you showed, certainly your professor was impressed enough with you that he would have chosen you out of the other students, and it says a lot of good things, okay, this is somebody that can do it. And then obviously when you get involved in with any job, you just need a foot in the door.
Exactly. I say that to young people. Take whatever you can get. You might start out
Don't worry about the money.
You might start as a skivvy or whatever, but one thing always leads to, if you do that well and people notice you, one thing will always lead to another. But don't I'm not doing that because that's not my dream job. Because I feel like young people today feel like they just have to start with their dream job. They're not prepared to kind of, do the hard yards to get to the dream job.
They need to start doing and show that they're capable of doing stuff that they don't really want to do.
Exactly.
Because that says so much more about you than actually doing the job that's given to you.
Exactly.
Right? All right. Let's and I believe also you're into music trivia. Or not music trivia. Is it music trivia or is it?
It's a general knowledge.
General knowledge trivia.
Yeah.
You're quite a trivia boffin.
Well, I won't say that, but I do enjoy it.
well, is it the Rat and Parrot? Tell us about that story.
Yes. So this is apparently a pub quiz that's been going for a number of years. My team's only participated for the last couple of years, because I heard about it a few years ago, and I'm like, how have I never known about this? I really want to do this. So I got a team together, and we started up a couple of years ago, and we do every Tuesday evening.
It's in Grahamstown. This is in Makhanda.
Yes.
At the Rat and Parrot.
The Rat and Parrot, in the back room of the Rat and Parrot. We take
Okay.
over there, and a part of the upstairs section.
The dungeon.
And
no,
a
it's
woman called
upstairs.
Robin Cooper runs it, and it's like properly.
Okay.
You know, you
It's
play
professional,
every
eh?
week. You play every week with your team, and your points build up, you know, over the months.
Okay.
And then you
And how much
tomorrow
wine
night's-
is consumed at these things?
It depends, you know. I'm not a big wine drinker, but
Yes, Richard's
but-
shaking his head, yes.
I'm not a big wine drinker, but you know, there are people that certainly imbibe in between.
Does
the
it
quiz.
improve their...
And that's very good for
knowledge?
the Rat and Parrot, because
Yes.
most people will all generally order meals and drinks
Okay,
and
yes,
things
of
like that.
course.
So you do that.
They
in
get their
between.
money out of you bastards,
So
yes.
Yeah, so it's good for them. I mean, it's for that evening. It's full.
Yeah, no, and it's such fun. It is.
It's
fun.
great fun.
It's been, even the youngsters again. My son got me the other day to go to one of these things, and it's enjoyable.
It is, and we've
Lovely.
got quite a nice intergenerational team. You know,
Yeah.
I've got my son and a friend of his, and then we've, you know, they sort of early
Yes.
30s.
You need to have that.
Well, you do, because the
Yes.
spectrum of questions is,
Yes.
you know, especially when it comes to music, is
Yes.
quite broad.
The youngster, if you want to find out who the latest rapper is, then
Yes.
you're not going to know,
The minute
Cathy.
she says, "Oh, this song, you know, want this song title from 2008," I'm like, "Over to you, over to you."
Yes, absolutely. I love that. I love it. And what would people be surprised to learn about you? And if you can't think of it now, I'm going to look over to Richard. Would be surprised to learn about you.
She's speechless.
Yes. You said that you can't possibly be speechless. Yeah. Richard wants some of these questions too, to keep you quieter. I know, we put you on the spot.
I suppose that I can sometimes be shy. I'm not usually shy,
Okay.
but occasionally I'd like to cross the floor, as I said, most of the time.
Yes.
But there just suddenly sometimes times that
You just want to be
that
yourself.
he's much more out there, you know.
Oh,
than I am,
really?
where he claims to be the shy, more introverted.
Oh,
one.
right.
Then there are times that he's much more willing to go.
When somebody
Engage,
needs
you
a
know.
talking to, then you send Cathy.
But I've tried to teach my boys as well. They're not boys anymore;
Yeah.
they're grown men now.
Yes.
I've got it right with one, and not so right with the other one.
Okay.
Because Uncle Bill Foles
Yes.
always said, always cross the floor, meaning always engage, you know, talk
Yes.
to people, ask them, and because you never know what you learn. You learn,
Yes.
you learn that you've got a connection, or
Meet
you learn
new
something
people.
you didn't know, you meet new people, or, you know, you never know where a conversation is going to
Totally.
take you. So,
Absolutely.
so yeah,
I
I'm
know
not
from
sure what
this
it is
show.
that they wouldn't know. Maybe they don't know that I can
Yeah.
score at cricket.
Oh, yes. She's a cricket scorer, and her father was a soccer coach. I like that. Too.
Yeah.
Oh, my word.
Oh,
Okay.
I'll tell you what a lot of people don't know about me is that when they hear me speak Afrikaans, they're like, "Oh, we didn't know you could speak of, you know." Because I
Yes.
speak it fluently because my mother was Afrikaans.
Oh.
So I am completely bilingual.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't know that.
Was your father from Rhodesia?
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't.
No,
He
his
was-
father was from England.
And not from Durban. There's a Durban connection. I hear you say kitchen and fish
Yes, and
and
fish, you know.
and fish.
And
That-
bucks, not
bucks.
bucks.
Yeah, bucks. That's like a Durban thing.
Yes, it's a
normally.
Natal thing.
Yes.
That's
Why have you got that in your
I don't know.
makeup? That's it's strange for a Cape Townian to come
Mm.
with that, you know. So I don't know where there's parts of Cape Town that are like
Which
that.
parts?
Yeah. Because I immediately thought when you said kitchen, I thought, yeah, this sounds like Zimbabwe or
Natal.
Durban normally, yeah.
Yes.
Or the New Zealanders also, you know, the New Zealanders, as they always say, fish as well.
Yes, that's
Yes,
right.
they do it. So you're an anomaly.
Yes,
with your
seems
accent.
Like it. Seems like.
Yeah.
Yeah, so on my mother's side is all French Huguenot heritage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
The
hence
Huguenots.
the Afrikaans,
All right.
stroke French. Not that I can
So-
speak French.
So not Catholic then.
No.
Because the Huguenots are
No.
kicked out.
Yes,
then.
exactly. Yes.
Oh, my word. Okay. What's the hardest that you've ever worked?
Sure. I think think now with juggling jobs
Yes.
is hard because
Yeah.
I'm very involved with my NGO in Makhanda, Grahamstown, and very involved with the Amakhala Foundation.
Yes.
And it's not that sort of, sweat to the brow, hard work.
Yeah.
But it's very hard
Time.
it's time and also to manage multiple things because things don't stay in their lanes.
Yes.
On Wednesday, just because I'm in Makhanda with my NGO there, doesn't mean that somebody at Amakhala Foundation isn't going to need an answer or a payment or something
Right now.
urgently, right now. So that balancing act is
And also to give enough time to
it's quite
Richard,
hard.
it's quite demanding.
Exactly. Family. I think probably I was heading up the Centre for Social Development at Rhodes University, sort of between 2006 and 2010. And the boys were at school, so that was a full-time job, and the boys were at school, and we'd started, Woodbury Lodge and Amakhala. So
that was tough.
That was tough.
Yeah, sure. Wow. Your biggest irrational fear?
Elephants close up.
Elephants close up. I don't know if that's irrational.
But I don't think that's irrational.
No, it's not too irrational.
I always try and tell Richard that my fears are generally quite rational. What I'm scared of is meant to be scared of.
Aeroplanes. Oh, you don't like flying?
I'm not a happy flyer.
Yeah, Philippa, my wife, doesn't like flying at all. She doesn't like that.
I mean, I don't break out into a sweat or something, but I'm always a little bit nervous.
Well, when you've got people like Simon around you, I'm not surprised.
Our family's kind of divided. And the other Gush family that are part of us with Woodbury and Amakhala as well, they love flying. And I mean, their daughter who's in her gap year now is doing flying lessons on small planes.
So you weren't that person?
No, I'm not that person.
A pilot's license.
So I'm definitely never going bungee jumping.
Maybe flying an airplane yourself would have been a better, because then you would, you'd know.
Maybe.
I'm
not going to test that theory.
I've never thought about that theory. Actually, I'm going to
ask
my wife about that one. What annoys you most about your job?
When people don't do what I asked them to do, told them to do, weren't listening, or
And listen.
I think not that it happens very often. But and if they don't do it to the standard, that you would like. But there isn't much. I must say, as I say, I've been very privileged to always really, really enjoy what I'm doing.
Yes. Well,
I don't suffer fools lightly, and I kind of if I expect something to get done to a certain standard, then I don't want to have to nag people to do it or watch over them to do it.
Now, Richard's nodding with the look that she gets the moorin'.
But I've got a fantastic team at the moment. I really have. I'm very excited, and they're young Black professionals. They are just great, and I love working with them. And
I'm just having a look at this. There's Richard was a quiet guy and good tennis player. Says Brian.
He still is.
Is he good at tennis? Very nice. Is it? Yeah. Excellent.
That was probably our first date. Was a tennis game.
Tennis game. Yes. No. It's a similar situation with my wife. I think. Amakhala people, the folds, the gush, the reeds, they're all salt of the earth. Says Brian. I love that. But Lower Albany is good. There's some good people down there. That's properly. Hugo Clara says, "Hey, I'm watching you." That's our muser. Corin Shaw cannot wait, and not intending to get cold. So you're good. There's going to be lots of fires. Corin Shaw says, "Kudos to Steve for the ablutions. Were excellent."
That's
and
she was at the last one.
She was at the last one. Excellent. She says the ablutions were excellent. I'm glad you found that to be to your liking.
Important, always important.
It is. Something that you've done that made you gave you extreme happiness.
That I did.
Yes, something that you've done in your life that's given you extreme happiness.
Besides giving birth to my boys.
Well, that's a lot of pain.
Well, yes, I guess.
Yeah.
Very,
But
great-
later, yes,
great
yes.
actors.
Other
they
than your,
are,
other
they
than your
are
children.
they are the treasure of my life. I do
Yes.
love my boys
Yes.
very deeply.
How many?
Two
boys?
sons, yeah.
2 sons. How
yeah.
old are they now?
That's why I say I mustn't say boys. 33 and 30.
Oh wow.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, they're very, very, very special. But just working, that's why I said I'm a closet librarian. I think I should probably have gone to study that because I've always liked working with children and books.
Do you like libraries?
Yes. No, I mustn't be a place of joy. I'm on the board of Nal'ibali, which is a national literacy reading for children.
Yes, the literacy stuff. Yes, the literacy stuff.
Great joy. It's hard work this week. It's hard work times a year at least.
Just tell us about the literacy. There's an acronym.
LITASA.
LITASA.
Yes, that's the literacy association.
Okay, remember that.
Yes, I'm trying to be the vice chairman nationally, and I'm also nationally, and I'm also working in sort of regions nationally. And then also on the board of Nal'ibali, which a lot of people will know from the radio stories and TV. It's a national reading for enjoyment campaign. It's rather nasty because I'm very passionate about kids loving and enjoying reading and not just thinking about it as hard work and school work.
Tell you what, my wife loves this sort of stuff. To actually put you to that. She's loves that, and she's it's really a dream to have a school that's out and stuff. She does loving this whole. She does reading to horses for people, for kids that have that battle to read, especially in front of people.
Yes.
They read to the horses and it's
right,
better.
yes.
See, the lightning's starting here as well. My goodness.
Is she a teacher?
Yes.
Okay.
She is. Yeah, she's got a PhD now.
Well, she can come and teach out at Sydney when you
Yeah, well, she can certainly. I'm sure she'd love to come and see what this.
Oh, she's
what
more
it's
than
all about.
welcome.
Yeah. But the most nervous that you've ever been. That.
That's quite a hard one. I don't generally stress about talking in front of people or that kind of, because my mother introduced me to debating at a young age, which I'm very grateful for because I know a lot of people get very, very nervous about that. So not that.
Teaching you how to argue.
Yes.
Richard also is nodding his head as well now. Again.
Putting me on the spot here.
Croatia. Tell me about the.
Yes.
What did you say? Croatia. Croatia.
So water and I aren't, big friends. I can swim, but that's.
But you don't like to go on a cruise either.
No, so small boats and sailing and that kind of aren't really my thing. And somehow I always end up having kind of nerve-wracking experiences with water. And one of them was we were traveling in Croatia with our sons in about 2016 or something. And for some crazy reason, I agreed that we could go sea kayaking.
Oh.
So we set out, and it was kind of okay, but only just.
Yes.
We sort of managed to we were at Dubrovnik, managed to get across to the first island. So, that's
wow.
That it's okay.
And
I can do this. It's okay. Yeah. We stayed there for quite a bit for a break, and then in the meantime, the wind had come up.
Oh.
And so when we had to go out again, our guide was busy helping another couple. And he said, "No, you guys, we were in one kayak and the boys were in another one.
Oh, my word.
You go so long, and we'll follow." And he sends us out into the sea.
Ew.
And now it's very choppy.
And the boys too.
Hey. And we they're over there and we over here, and then these huge swells. And
my word.
I was convinced we were going to die there. And Shane, poor Wesley, he was, let's say, 16 or 15, and Sachin was 12, and Sachin was absolutely crying and beside him. He had to try and keep him calm. And they're over there and we're over here. And I'm really envisaging how this whole thing is going to capsize. And we're all going to be dobbering around in life jackets.
Yes.
Anyway, eventually the guy did pitch up, and somehow we managed to make our way around it. But that, I break out in a cold sweat.
Just thinking about it.
Just thinking about it.
Oh, my soul.
So water and I.
Okay, some of your plans for the future, for yourself as well.
Yeah, well, we're having our first grandchild in September.
Oh, my
in
word.
September.
They're breeding already.
So next generation, it's a boy. So next generation
Excellent.
of Gush is on its way.
Okay, there we
So
go.
I plan
There we
to. I'd really like to be involved
Yeah.
with my grandson, and hopefully there will be more in time to come. I still would like to build out some of the literacy projects that I'm involved at the moment, especially the classroom library project.
Yeah.
Both,
Okay.
in sort of Makhanda and surrounds in the Eastern Cape, and then obviously do more stuff with the foundation as well, and
Lovely.
build that up.
Yeah.
Travel
with
we
your
like to
husband,
travel.
says
We
your
like- we
husband.
like traveling.
Yes. You like a
like
bit of travel,
traveling,
but
yeah,
not flying too much. And also you're gonna have to go on the ground, and you're also not going to go in a kayak.
No, we're definitely not going by boat. Anyway.
No, by
But,
boat.
yeah, I mean, if you want to travel, you have to get in a plane. You
Yeah,
just
yeah, no,
bite
you
the
have
bullet
to
and
take
go.
a tablet.
Yeah,
Have
some more
St.
traveling.
John's wort or something.
Yes, exactly. Some calming stuff.
Yes.
So maybe, the Scandinavian countries or
Lovely.
cruise there. We've done quite a bit of Europe. Tennis, we're big tennis followers. We've been
Okay,
to
yes.
Wimbledon and the French Open,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
but we'd like to go to the Italian Open in the
Okay.
next year or two.
Italian opera, very, very nice.
Yeah.
Very good.
I love Italy. I love, Tuscany, that area. I'd like to go.
Beautiful.
If I could go and spend 3 months in an Italian villa and just mosey around and get food from
Oh,
the local
beautiful.
village, I'd love to do
You'll
that.
gain at least 10 kilos
Absolutely,
eating there, because
which I can
it's
afford to do.
beautiful. Oh, Cathy, it's been absolutely fantastic.
it's been
As the
great.
rain comes down,
Yes,
the
yes,
rain comes
appropriately.
down on that side here. Looks like Kabeja is getting some more rain, guys.
Hopefully it'll be over by we always appreciate the rain. As farmers, we never say no to rain.
For sure.
When
For
we
sure.
first moved to the Eastern Cape, I'd say,
Yeah.
I'd look outside and I'd say, oh, it's threatening to rain. And my mother knows, we always said, yeah, we say it's promising to rain.
It's promising.
We
It's
don't-
promising, not
Because
threatening
I come
to
from
rain.
Cape Town, it rains all the time.
That's threatening to rain.
So hopefully
in
it will be
Cape Town.
over by the weekend and we'll have good weather. This concert will be very exciting.
Yes, this concert's going to be amazing, and camping over. And thank you so much for your time and for coming
my
on.
pleasure. Yeah, it's been
Fantastic.
lovely meeting you.
Lovely to
Meeting
meet
the
you
famous
guys.
Gino, Fabbri,
Oh,
we
you
only
know.
get to see you on the stage.
Well, I'm glad to meet more gushes.
Super. Thanks for the opportunity.
And
It's been
Amakhala,
great.
at least I know who's there when I'm riding past it
Yes,
now,
that's the way.
Yes, I'll
come,
give her away.
Come and stop by and bring your wife and
For sure.
have a little tour around
We'll-
the project.
I would love to. And I know she would
Really?
love to do that.
She would. No,
Definitely.
she's more than
definitely.
welcome.
We'll come out. And thank you guys for joining us. Thank you to Fitch and Leeds, our sponsors. And thank you to Amobia. And we have a competition. We do have a competition that we can do for the last couple of guys on board. Let's see who's going to win our Fitch and Leeds for this week. Let's check it out. We have our competition. There we go. Libby. Libby Rupp has won our case of Fitch and Leeds. Yeah. She's smart stone. She does the smart stone stuff. So she will be sending you our case of Fitch and Leeds. Thank you for joining us. Remember, on Tuesday, we are. This is Tuesday night live now. We are rebroadcasting this. Thank you for joining us to the Tuesday guys and to the Monday guys. And thank you for coming on all this way. Fantastic. Ciao, guys.
Relax, sit down. Coming out of PE town. Have a drink, find a shot. Never mind your liver, get to Gino's spot.
Gino Spot!
Get to Gino's spot.
Gino Spot!
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle. Have a Gino shot.